All right, what's up, everybody? We are on season 1, episode 6 of Steins, and I love the title for this episode because it's called Butterfly Effect's Divergence. The butterfly effect is something that I've known about for a long time, although, I don't know if I really in detail am able to describe it, but for example, I remember with a game like Until Dawn, I don't know if anybody here knows it, came out, I think, back in 2014. They called their whole system around the game the butterfly effect, because basically any choice that you would make in the game could drastically impact the way that future events would then unfold. And I think that's really what it's supposed to describe, is like any choice that we make technically in our lives can actually be, a small, I don't know, again, it's something like, think about how, I mean, I don't know, like a plane crash happened, right? And then there's some people who just like missed their bus when they were supposed to get on that plane. And it obviously made a huge, huge difference in the way that their lives turned out. They could have either been caught in that, or they were able to continue living on their lives the way they were, right? It's those kinds of things, the small decisions that we make that ultimately do end up having a massive effect potentially on, the way the rest of our, I guess, lives play out, right? And the way the rest of time therefore plays out. And so obviously here in Steins Gate, dealing with time travel the way we are, it's already something that was kind of, well, I don't think the butterfly effect was necessarily talked about, but of course the way they did explain the concept of time travel in this a little bit by now, where they talked about the world lines, right? And the world lines were supposed to represent basically when you was it that when you go back in time, it basically creates, and you do something differently. That's what it was, right? It creates a new line. So just constantly everything keeps branching out. But then at the same time, there's, I think, at least that's how they described it, and that's what had me a little confused too, that it creates these alternate universes almost where certain decisions were ultimately made. The moment that you impact time and you go back, you go back into a certain time period or whatever, and you end up making a different choice there. That's how it keeps branching off. So where do we go from here? That's the question, right? What are they going to explain further about, for example, the butterfly effect? Are we going to see some of that in action here already? Are they going to be able to perhaps travel back in time for the first time themselves and maybe make like a small change and see how that impacts the way the episode started? That would be super fascinating, right? Because I mean, all that we know for now is that like they've managed to create a time machine themselves, right? What they did with that banana, turning it into jelly and stuff, like that's exactly what CERN ended up ultimately discovering too. This is what made me actually question in the last episode whether Ocarin and his crew themselves aren't actually CERN in the future, right? That's a possibility. I don't know. I mean, yeah, but but well, I don't know. I mean, it's a possibility. Like I said, it's this show. I've constantly find myself already just thinking in so many directions and trying to think of possibilities, but it's really hard to substantiate all of it and to like make it more concrete. Because ultimately, I also realized that like, they can do anything they want here, and we are getting so many things teased. I'm thinking about just all the characters, right? There is the girl that works for Mr. Brown who knows too much, somehow is antagonistic against Makisa Kurisu, and it's like, okay, why? What do you know? Who are you involved with? Perhaps in the future or whatever, right? Or what's that about? Then I think about Makisa Kurisu and the fact that like, okay, she is obviously the victim of, at some point, she became the victim, well, in the past, but then that was restored later on again, presumably by CERN, or maybe it was actually the crew here themselves that decided. That's a possibility too. Now I think about it, like, okay, maybe they go travel back in time and they make this situation literally happen where she gets stabbed. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why you would why you would sacrifice your one of your crew members in a vicious way like that, but maybe if you can ultimately fix it, like that's why. But probably not, right? Again, so much that can potentially happen. Ocarin's involvement in it all. Mayuri, who I still like. She's really nice, really sweet, and but still, there's something fishy about her too. Then again, she's known Ocarin her whole life, so I guess you know, like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, unless they literally put her to go back in time to become Ocarin's best friend or something, so that she could always be up close with him, right? That's a potential or a possibility as well. I myself, I'm literally turning into a mad scientist here, as you can see. And, you know, at this point, it won't be too long before I start laughing the same way Ocarin does, I guess. But this show is fantastic. I absolutely love it so far, and I can't wait to see where we go next episode. So, yeah, we're just going to get straight away into episode 6 here. But of course, guys, if you enjoy my reactions to Steins Gate, you can already watch the next 8 episodes right away over on my Patreon page, which is going to be linked on top of the description. Over there, we will already be on episode 14, so you can catch up on all of that right now, along with, of course, full-length reactions if you want to see me react to the episodes in their entirety. And then with that being said, we're gonna get into episode 6 of Steins Gate. Here we go. Back to the satellite, yeah. Okay, so it's still here, nobody really knows what the deal with it is. Oh god, this girl, you'd almost forget about her too. Man, they got too many. Shining Fingers, that's what she was called or something, right? Shining Finger? Are they just trying to interview random bystanders? Or did they pick her for a reason? Right. It's possible. I mean, maybe you can go back in time and fix it. Dude, your phone isn't even on. He never listens to this waitress. Oh god, there she is again. Oh no. Here we go again. The second meet. How's she gonna take it now? What time? Keeps calling her that. Oh, okay, yeah. Like King Arthur. Exactly. Nah, she's an assistant. Just don't invite that other girl working below. She cannot be trusted. I can't believe that Ocarin doesn't see it. He just willfully keeps telling her everything, leaving the window open so she can hear in. Oh god. It's constantly the same repeated arguments that they have. Nostalgia drive. I don't think people are impressed by that name. Yeah, that's zero. An emo teenager. Mail that flies against time. Yeah, that's not great either. Leapt through time, nope. Time leap. I'll take that. Oh god. Okay. Back to the mail. Okay, just tell me. Somebody's gonna come up with it. D-mail.
ああ、それいいね。
じゃ、決定ということで。
それではこれより D メールカッコ仮の実験を開始する。
Yeah, that's easy enough.
作戦名はオペレーションウルドだ。
それもいらない。
D メールの発生条件分かってない。
This show is so chaotic, man. I love it.
関係も不明だし。
最初の D メールは12時から13時。2回目は18時頃に発生している。つまりその2つの時間帯に実験することで再現が可能かもしれない。
I mean, why? Yeah, why would other times not be possible?
マユシーのバナナずいぶん減ったね。
ゼリーマンになるかどうかの確認のためだ。さあ、助手早くバナナを中へ。
Oh god. See, I read it and I'm like, I know this dude is gonna make a comment about it. But that probably says more about me.
嬉しいな。
オペレーションウルド開始。 今だ。
Oh my god. Honestly, with his behavior, I would not be surprised if he's the mad scientist leading CERN in the end.
ゲルバナになったね。
Okay. Well, succeeded again.
やるわね、岡部。あまりに単純で気づかなかった。
Why only these times then?
それより D メールは届いてる？
受信日時は5日前。
マキセ氏、2通送った？
うん、1通だけ。
Okabe wasn't. Airhead.
分割されてる。
Oh.
ちなみにこの文章の意味は？
Okay, so she just sent that as one.
自分で調べれば。
そういえばさ、この間の D メールも分割されて文章は途中で切れてたよな。遡った時間も同じく5日だったし。
ああ、何か法則性が。あ、ということはあのメールは頭空っぽのバカだということか。
Wow, he figured it out.
クリスティーナ、どさくさに紛れて。ちょっと待て、こんなに買ってどうする？
だって実験成功のお祝いだし。
いいから戻してこい。
I'm sure this guy will always want to celebrate with, sweet stuff. Are we gonna start? Oh, Jello? Oh god, okay, there she is again. This show just keeps moving, it's ridiculous.
シャイニングフィンガーではないか。なんだ？
This is always how she communicates, no?
携帯持ってないの？
この法院京馬の携帯は今人類史に名を残す偉大な実験に使用中のためここにはない。
そちらの
Oh no.
セクシーな3次元の女性はどなたでありますか？
ふむ、紹介しよう。シャイニングフィンガー。
This man is not used to the outside live.
よろしく桐生。
Yeah. Start exercising, man. That's a first. Even once I had hope for the 3D world. Oh boy.
さっきから愉快なことしてる？
いかにも。
マキセ・クリスもまだいるの？
ああ、そういえばさっきもじっと見てたな。この前といい、なぜ奴にこだわる？過去に何かあったのか？
He's finally observant for once, okay. I'm happy about that. No, in the future.
そう。あれは8歳の夏。
何もないって。この前が初見。それより早く店長に謝りに行った方がいいよ。
お前ら一体上で何やってんだ？さっきから何度も派手に揺らしやがって。
実は人類の科学史を塗り替える。
Like an earthquake. That reminds me of the first episode again. But I think that just had to do with the satellite being on the roof. Unless it had to do with the time traveling being done.
ま、データは十分取れたし、D メールの法則についても大体分かったからいいけど。
何？
D メールが遡る時間については、タイマーの1秒が現実の1時間に相当する。120秒で5日。それで5日前ってわけ。
いつ送るか。
Oh, of the microwave, okay.
だが送れる文字数は英文で最大36文字、日本文で18文字だ。 少なすぎる。
Oh, that's why they split it up.
きっと大きなものとかたくさんは送れないんだね。そのブラックホールの穴がきついんだよ。
マイシアン、今の言葉もう一度穴のところから。
やめろ変態。
詳細な検証は明日以降に行う。
You just see it coming from miles away.
宣言しておこう。2010年8月2日は人類史にとって永遠に記憶に残る日になるであろう。なぜならこの日、我ら未来ガジェット研究所は人類史上初のタイムマシン開発に成功したからである。
セルに先越されてたし。
そもそも開発したとは言えない。
I'm starting to get the impression more and more though that they could be CERN.
でもオカリ、実験がうまくいってよかったね。
Thanks, Mayuri. Okay. The hell?
ここでは空間と時間が入れ替わっている。
イベントホライゾンか。
振り返ってはいけない。永遠は無限ではない。永遠に向かって時間が引き延ばされようとも、終わりは存在する。
Oh yeah, that's kind of what he said in the very beginning. Talking about what was infinite and what was finite.
たどり着いて振り返ってはいけない。
Damn. No idea what to make of that, but
昨日はごめんね。これからそっちへ行っていい？
okay, apologizing for the
出るとは考えないのか。
meet they had.
なんだと？
Coming up the stairs right now? Was she sending these things now though? Okay, yeah.
で
She's still wanting to talk through that.
目の前にいるのに。見ないぞ、直接言え。見せたはいいがこんな朝っぱらから来るとは。なぜ喋らない？なるほど、そういうことか。この俺、狂気のマッドサイエンティスト、法院狂魔の邪悪なるオーラを恐れているのだな。
メールの方が気楽。だから IPN5100 見せて。
What, it's easier to send emails than to talk? Is that what she's saying?
見
Why?
せるだけだ。そして見たら帰るのだ。それでいいか。こいつもしかしてただのレトロ PC マニアか？
I mean,
顔以外だ。もし取ったらお前の口封じをするしかな。貸してほしいんだけどダメかな。運ぶのを手伝ってくれる。なぜ貸すのが前提になってるのだ。
I was gonna say, why are you even letting her take pictures, honestly?
こっちを向いて直接話せ。
Why are you even letting us see it?
貸してくれるの？
そもそも俺も一時的に借りただけだ。使い終わったら元の所有者に返すことになる。
Oh, yeah.
所有者って
Oh, okay, yeah. What's the deal with that? Yeah, the guy at the shrine. And the guy girl at the shrine.
確か昨日の桐生氏？今結構めんどい手順が必要じゃん。D メールを過去に送るのにさ。
Oh, no. I don't know if you want to be bringing all this up. Yeah.
なんでもない。聞き違いだ。過去にメールを送るではなくてだな。過去にメールを送る。
Sending my ill
これ
stoat.
は今は失われし、古代シュメール語で朝ごはんもう食べたの意味で。
おはようオカリ。タイムマシン実験する前にマリシンの唐揚げ温めさせて
Oh, I
あげ
can't
て
get over all these little things constantly recurring.
俺だ。まずいことになった。いや、そうじゃない。8号機の情報が第三者に漏れた。
Just say Alpsai Congaroo all the time. Make me even more confused.
カレーにす
食
る？
い止める。機関に知られるわけにはいかん。通話中にメールを送るな。
It can't be FB. Facebook.
FB?
Is that who CERN is all along? Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg himself?
わかった。こうなったら全てを話す。
What does she mean with FB?
貴様は今日からラボメンナンバー005だ。
Yeah, I mean, she's in on it now. Fuck, why does he seemed to know what she meant with FB, but I don't. Alright, well, I guess slowly but surely we're starting to really make progress here. I mean, especially, of course, the team, to call them like that, they're figuring out now some of the limits that they have in performing their D-mail, time travel experiments with these messages, right? So they know that they're dealing with certain limits of like, okay, we can only send it at this and this time, apparently. The contents of the messages can't be too long. What is that determined by is, of course, something that I ask myself. And what are other limits that we're going to have to be, dealing with is definitely a big question on my mind. But it's nice to know that there is at least some type of progress happening there. At the same time, I can also very much say that, like, overall, I still am not too sure. And I don't think we've really made too much progress in terms of me trying to figure out where all of these characters stand. Obviously, in this episode, there is the new girl now at the end, who we already saw in the beginning, of course, standing there looking at the satellite on top of the building, getting interviewed and running away from the scene. And now in the end, she seems very interested, of course, in this IBM computer. And she even suggested to Ocarin, like, could FB be involved? Whoever the hell FB is. Ocarin was able to immediately understand what she meant by it, which I was so surprised by, right? But it's like, okay, what's the deal with this character? What's the deal, of course, with the other girl that's working downstairs as a part-timer, but constantly getting involved with whatever the hell they're doing, right? Yeah, not a lot of progress there, like I said, and I'm looking forward to hopefully finding out a lot more about that. One thing that I do still definitely want to point out about the show that I'm loving so far is the constantly recurring elements that make me very much sort of warm up to the characters. And yeah, I don't know, it's such a it's the way that Mayuri keeps introducing herself. It's the way that you can just see the jokes coming a mile away from the from the friend who constantly wants to make these sexual remarks or whatever, right? And yeah, the way that, of course, Makisa Kurisu keeps fighting with Ocarin, him wanting to use that one name that he has for himself that is supposed to be really impressive, I guess. It's like, yeah, it's these constant inside jokes that I love so much because they keep being repeated, and somehow that gives the show this extra edge, that the silver lining, I guess you could say, which I very much just appreciate about it. There's one more scene perhaps that I should quickly touch on, which took about a minute, and it happened at a very random time, and it's like, okay, what the hell do I make of it, right? Where we see Ocarin sort of flying through time and space, and I think there's a voice, which I'm pretty sure was Makisa Kurisu, telling him to try and reach for the end, even though it may seem that that's infinite. I don't know exactly anymore what Ocarin said in episode 1 about time and space or whatever being finite or infinite. He was talking about the stars too, all kinds of stuff, right? But it's like, why was that scene there? What was it supposed to represent? Is it going to be important later on? How is this all going to connect, I'm starting to get the impression overall more and more, right now, this is just my state of mind at the moment, right? That SERN, the organization that we're going after, might just as well be all these people that we're following all along, right? That in this crazy quest to uncover the secrets of CERN, they're actually going to be the ones founding it themselves, essentially, or something. I would not be surprised if that's what it turns out to be. We're like a quarter of the way through the show. We have all these characters that are clearly now being established and we keep focusing on. It's like, okay, for the show ultimately to reveal sort of like a mystery presence, a mystery character at the end that turns out to be behind everything, I don't know, it would seem honestly more obviously, well, to me it would seem more obvious, I guess, in the end, if it turned out to be people among them, either a select group of people or one or two, like the way that I'm unsure about the role of some of these female characters, for example, but it could also be literally all of them or something, right? And that the experiments that Max Kurisu being stabbed in the first episode could have just been part of their own experiments or something, right? Like, why not? At this point, anything is possible. And so that's, that's really sort of a thought that's at the moment dominating my mind. But guys, I hope you enjoyed my reaction to Steins Gate episode 6. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And of course, if you enjoy my reactions, you can already watch the next 8 episodes right away over my Patreon page, which is going to be linked on top of the description. Over there, we'll already be on episode 14. So go and catch up on all of that right now, along with, of course, full-length reactions as well, if you want to see me react to the episodes in their entirety. And then with that being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you back in the next episode.